entrepreneur. He connects with people to help them apply the principles of spontaneous leadership to their careers, businesses, and lives. Over the last 25 years, he has spoken to or trained over 300,000 people. Amazing. 300,000 people in 10 countries and territories. He's the oldest of 10, a father, a grandfather, a veteran, a cancer survivor, and has traveled extensively, so he also has a real education. Please put your hands together for Cevin Ormond.
Have I got everybody thinking inside the box yet? What's in the box, right? So, a number of years ago, I had a problem. I just lost a company, and I didn't know why. I mean, I had the MBA, I had the engineering degree, it was a tech company, I figured I had it wired, you know? And it was gone, and I lost my home and about $1 million. It was no fun at all. And I didn't know why. And so what I did was I sat back and I tried to figure out what had happened. And what I discovered was that while I had the management skills and I had the technical skills, I was kind of weak on the leadership skills. And leadership is the most powerful of all the skill sets. It's the one that's most highly leverageable. And that area was where I was kind of weak. And so what I did was I said, okay, I got to fix this. And so I started studying leadership. And that created another problem. It's like there's a gazillion leadership experts out there, right? And who do you listen to? And you know, they're all different. And does that bother anybody besides me? It sure bothered me. And so as I was going through and studying that a little bit longer, I discovered something. There have to be that many. And there's a good reason for it. There's several good reasons, really. But it came along to help me understand that leadership, everything rises and falls on leadership, good or bad, as we know. And leadership really is the elephant in the room. And so, lo and behold, in my trunk, in the room, don't we? Ellie, isn't she cute? And this really, now gets you thinking outside the box, don't I? So anyway, Ellie is kind of here to demonstrate something because there's a story that was told in a poem back in the 1800s by John Godfrey Sachs. It starts out like this. 6 men of Hindustan, to learning much inclined, went to see the elephant, though all of them were blind, that each by observation might satisfy his mind. And so the story goes on where these guys are led up to the elephant. One grabs hold of the tail. He says, oh, an elephant's like a rope. And another one grabs the side and says, no, no, no. He says, an elephant is like a wall. Another guy grabs the legs and it's like a tree. It's like a fan. It's like a spear. It's like a snake. And so then they all step back and they proceed to argue and argue and argue about what an elephant is. And the reality, of course, is they were all partially right. They were all partially wrong because none of them had the whole picture. Leadership experts are much like that because of several reasons. Now, probably the main reason is the fact that leadership is very different than management. You see, management can be trained and measured, but leadership is felt. You feel good leadership, or you feel bad leadership, but you feel it. The problem with that is that happens in the limbic area of your brain where there's no language. So it makes it really difficult to communicate leadership well. You may understand it, and certainly for you, but leaders have to be developed, and everybody develops their own leadership style. And as a result of that, you end up with all these experts, and they're all coming from a different angle. So for example, maybe John Maxwell is here, maybe Cevin Ormond is here. Dan Clark, who endorsed my book, by the way, I wish he was here, but he might be on the tail back here, which makes sense because he's all about legacy, and legacy happens on that end of the elephant, right? I don't know what you think I'm talking about, but that's where little elephants come from. That's the legacy. So anyway, the bottom line is that you're going to relate to different leaders in different ways. They're going to fit you or not, different leadership experts. And so some people might relate to a John Maxwell and not relate to Cevin Ormond. Conversely, some might relate to Cevin Ormond, not to John Maxwell. Others might relate to Dan Clark. And so this is why there are so many. Okay? Now, The reality is that as I studied this, I came up with a 3-step process to figure this thing out. Step 1, you got to believe that you can develop leadership skills. We're all born with them. Look at kids on the playground. This kid leads that game, this kid leads that game, right? And then we kind of forget it, and now we've got to redevelop that and develop it further. Why? Because as I develop my leadership skills, my businesses work better, and my marriage worked better, and my relationships work better, and it all worked better. So as a result of that, I came up with this first step, which is you got to believe you can develop it. Because if you don't believe you can develop leadership skills, you're right. Henry Ford said, if you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right. And so that's step 1. Step 2, you got to read them all. You know, I've read hundreds of books, and I've listened to the audios, I've been to the programs, and as I've done that, I've started to develop my own understanding for me, my leadership style. That's what we all have to do. Step 3, it works kind of like this. You go to New York, and you say to the cab driver, how do I get to Carnegie Hall? He turns around and he says, practice, 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 right? Okay. Now, we all know the practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes permanent, but perfect practice makes perfect permanent. And so as you practice, and as you practice your style, you're going to develop this and develop an understanding of leadership that you wouldn't have had otherwise. So that's the 3-step process. That's what I help people with my speaking, with my book, with my coaching, and so on. That's what I do. And so thanks for your time. And oh, by the way, I have little stickers that say, since we're talking about the elephant in the room, they say the leader in the room. They'll be on the back. The leader in the room is, and you can put your name on there, stick it on your computer to remind you what you need to do. Thanks for your time.
Cevin, what great lessons on leadership. We appreciate you so very much.